So, a little bit about me again. My name is Kristen Avalos. I am a spiritual mindset coach and astrologer. And so, as a mindset coach, I believe that personal growth is a path to life purpose. I believe that challenges are a path to your highest potential, and that the choices that you make through your experiences, are the ways that you learn more about yourself and that you can continue to grow. And my perspective of astrology is on the evolutionary perspective, where the individual consciousness that each of us has is really a mirror into what is playing out in the outer world, and it does connect to our our past experiences, maybe even past lifetimes, our ancestors' experiences. And so we are continuing to play out these different dynamics in a way that is leading to the creative evolution of the planet and of the entire interplanetary universe. I believe that the truth is you are a sovereign being of light, that you have divinity within you, and you came to this lifetime for a specific purpose. You are here to heal your karma, to make things right, and to evolve into a more conscious and creative being. And now I want to get into the Taurus Scorpio eclipse cycle, which is really dealing with karmic adjustments that we're making. And of course, I talked in part one about Gemini Sagittarius and some of the ways that we've seen how these karmic adjustments have played out in our society. This is an 18-month cycle, and the new cycle kicks off December of 2021 and will last until July of 2023. And again, we're still talking about money. Taurus, ruler of the second house, where America is having its Pluto return. Pluto, ruler of Scorpio. So Scorpio is where the south node point is. Taurus is where the north node is on this eclipse cycle. So we're still bringing in this idea of wealth, money, power, properties, possessions. So Taurus, we're going to be in the next 18 months talking a lot about land, land and property. We're going to be talking about our food and the biotech food industry. So I have here an example of lab grown meat, bioengineered food, because of course Uranus, the planet of revolution and technology, is also in Taurus. So these points will meet up, which I'll talk about in a minute. Taurus is about work and the earned income that you make through work, which of course we've already been seeing with companies that are not able to find people to work. We have a shift in people's values who are now leaving jobs. There were record numbers of people that resigned in 2021. People's values are changing with remote working. They're wanting more, freedom, flexibility. They're really aligning their self-worth with their work. So they're trying to move into alignment with doing something that feels right. We're talking about our physical material possessions, the resources that we have. In terms of money, we're talking about money, debt, we're hitting this debt ceiling in the United States. We're talking about crypto money, so a new technology of money. We're talking about a quantum financial system, which again is very much connected to Uranus. And we're already seeing this shift into body rights. There's going to be a lot coming up with not only related to the mandates, but this idea of abortion and the body rights of women is all going to be big headline news in the next 18 months from what I'm expecting. And again, Taurus does rule our physical bodies. It also rules the divine feminine. So we'll see more about that. So some key dates to keep in mind with the eclipse cycles in 2022. On April 30th, we'll have a new moon in Taurus, which is a partial solar eclipse that is conjunct Uranus. So expect April to be quite a dynamic month. July 31st, we have Uranus conjunct the true node in Taurus. So again, mark that date on your calendar. On May 15th and 16th, we'll have the full moon in Scorpio, which this is going to be a total lunar eclipse. It will be square Saturn and sextile Pluto. And then on October 25th, we'll have the new moon in Scorpio, which will be a partial solar eclipse. And on November 8th, we'll have a full moon in Taurus, again, a total lunar eclipse, blood moon from, as you see from the image. Now, the changing of the nodes, like I said, from Gemini to Sagittarius, the energy shift is going to be more emotionally intense and less scattered as we're moving in. Scorpio, of course, is very intense. And with Taurus being an earth sign, will be really more grounded, whereas Sagittarius and Gemini are a lot more scattered. We'll be seeing hidden activities at play. We'll really be trying to find more stability and security. And we're going to be talking about this idea of sharing or even hoarding resources, which we were talking about this at the beginning of 2020, and we're still talking about it as it relates to the supply chains and the inflation and all of that. So expect that to continue. Now, there's a really great article, which I'll link it below, by the astrologer Gary O'Toole about this Taurus Scorpio. He says the North Node points us eagerly forward, but as we do so, the South Node points us back to a past we cannot ignore unless we are to continue to make the same old mistakes. Even if we are fully aware of our mistakes, we are likely to repeat them. Certainly societies and nations are, as ancestral missteps are passed along to their descendants. Again, I don't think it's by any accident that we have the Pluto bubbling up of this underbelly, and then we also have Scorpio being in the South Node point is what we are letting go of, what we're releasing. Now, here's a blast from the past where Gary O'Toole talks about what was happening when the nodes were last at this point, which was April of 2003 until end of December of 2004. So in 2003, the United States invaded Iraq and toppled Saddam Hussein, rooting him out from his hiding place, which hid in Scorpio. The war on terror was a prime example of Ketu, South Node in Scorpio, wishing to rid the world of terrorists, while Rahu, which is the North Node in Taurus, promotes the need for peace, but with a heavy cost involved. The official US statement has been because of weapons of mass destruction, although there was no evidence of this prior or since, it seems. The motives are always hidden in Scorpio. And many believe that the US had a vested interest in invading Iraq apart from the attempt to root out an axis of evil. The South Node in Scorpio shows the need to get rid of a perceived threat, but also the need for others' hidden resources, including wealth buried underground, such as oil. And again, remember in part 2, I talked about with the Neptune in Pisces and the Jupiter in Pisces, this idea of an invisible perceived threat. So keep that in mind. And another thing too to point out is that the Neptune opposition that I talked about in part 2 happens pretty much right at the same time as the first Pluto return in February. And this I forgot to change it. So there was a Sagittarius total eclipse on December 4th, 2021. And this was the final eclipse of the Gemini Sagittarius cycle. So the end of the 8th month. So again, it's not Taurus, it is Sagittarius. And just a news story again that I think really starts to bring us into this, taking where we were from that 18-month cycle into this new 18-month cycle is that the debt limit, the debt ceiling, and how that's going to start to really be part of the new conversation. And again, as Thomas Jefferson said, the earth belongs to the living, not the dead. The modern theory of the perpetuation of debt has drenched the earth with blood and crushed its inhabitants with burdens ever accumulating. And in Silent Weapons for Quiet Wars, which I mentioned, they say when the subject citizens are rendered unable to control their financial affairs, they become totally enslaved, a source of cheap labor. And of course, again, on December 2nd, 2021, so right around the time of that Sagittarius total eclipse, we literally have a conversation talking about slave labor. So certain companies accused of slave labor for using Chinese cotton, and they're using basically slave labor. So even though Silent Weapons, and I'm quoting Thomas Jefferson, I wanted to illustrate how these are not topics that are dated. We're seeing them again right in front of our eyes. Now, with the nodes conjunct Uranus, which I said will be happening in July, we're also, I believe, going to be talking about eugenics, bloodlines, and the transhumanist connections. So here's some articles about Bill Gates's ties to eugenics. Just reading briefly, the article title is Eugenics and Population Control as Dominant Ideologies of the Elite. It says, it is important to understand that the goals and beliefs of the eugenicists never went away. In fact, they have been conducting eugenics operations on the public in the West since World War II. And then another article, again, as I talked about, when Bill Gates was interviewed by PBS and was asked about his connections to Jeffrey Epstein. It's a really awkward interview. So if you haven't seen that, it's kind of like he's really uncomfortable. And if you have done some research that about Epstein actually does have connections to the science community. Basically, as Gary O'Toole says, we are now fully engaged in a global and galactic war. This is a racial war of what we perceive as good and evil and good against evil. But I believe it will be a fight over the supremacy of bloodlines. And again, we're seeing the genetics conversation very much, and it will continue. So keep keep all of that in mind. Thank you so much for being here, for watching this. I just want to remind you that the most powerful weapon on earth is the human soul on fire. So I know this is a lot, and I do hope to maybe do a separate video for America's Pluto return and do a little bit more in depth with some of the key topics, such as, you know, cryptocurrencies and different things like that, just in terms of tying into more of the history of it. So that's something that I might put out later. Just reminding you that I do life purpose astrology readings, where I will help you to explore your personality from the level of the soul, where I'll help you to understand your mission, your gifts, and your talents in this lifetime, and how you can address and overcome obstacles related to karma and unconscious blocks, so that you're really able to step up in to your highest potential at this time where each one of us is needed. This is a 45-minute recorded audio, so I will record it for you and send it to you, and then you have the opportunity to have a free 30-minute follow-up call with me afterwards, where you can ask questions or get clarification. I'm offering a webinar special. Thank you so much for being here with me and watching these videos. So $99 is the special. You can reach out to me at kristinavalos.com, and be sure to check your junk mail. I will respond no more than 24 hours typically. So if you don't hear back from me, make sure and check your email, your junk folder. And I also offer a free 45-minute discovery call session. I have a one-on-one signature coaching program helping you to reclaim your power, your passion, and your purpose. So if you're interested in learning more about working with me one-on-one through doing some spiritual mindset coaching, click on the link below. And again, I'll put my email address. I didn't include it in these slides. I will include that below as well. So you can reach out about getting an astrology reading, and I'll be in touch with you that way. So thank you once again. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for watching. I appreciate you liking this video. I appreciate you subscribing to my channel, sharing this video with your friends and family that you think would be interested, and of course, hearing your comments and receiving your emails. I am very appreciative of your feedback, or even letting me know what I can do better, or other videos that you'd be interested in. So thank you, and I will see you next time. Bye.